What on earth is Fortnite? What does it mean? And what can we do with it? So my friend and colleague Ahmad here today is going to join me to set the scene and what it means for business. So Ahmad, introduce me to Fortnite and what's happening with this whole Fortnite thing I keep hearing about.
Hi everyone, hi Sammar. First, thanks for hosting me. I was introduced to Fortnite recently when during lockdown I went to my neighbor Ahmad, right? And I saw the game and he was kind of addicted to it. And the most amazing part are were the character, this banana that was in action, the colors, the journey was amazing. And yeah, even though there's a little bit of cartoonish violence, not the kind of Tom and Jerry, but I didn't mind it because the experience is there, the survival, the strategy, and yeah, it's mind blowing.
Wow. So, people are I'm hearing a lot about this game, lots of people are playing it, and it's become a real phenomenon in culture today. And so what's your view around how's that impacting the landscape?
Well, Samar, it's impacting in different areas. When from a gaming perspective, it's attracting not only Gen Z but different generations because it checks different boxes. And one of the interesting part that I'm seeing is commercially, right? Um,
Mhm.
so many organizations are interested now in this part. And I wanted to ask you this question: what is your view on the commercial aspect of Fortnite? And I heard some disputes. Do you have a view on it?
Yeah, that's a really interesting development we've seen over the last week, Ahmed, with Fortnite having a disagreement with Apple over its hosting in
Hmm.
the Apple Store. So this is a dispute to do with payments because a lot of micropayments go through the Fortnite platform. So if you are a player, you're effectively a subscriber. So to progress in the game, to progress your character, to buy equipment and upgrades and so on, you have to buy in app. And so to process those purchases, there are certain rules for participants inside the Apple App Store to abide by, and they have to use the Apple payment system for that. And Apple, of course, has a certain commercial interest in processing those payments.
Hmm.
So Fortnite itself, the company that owns the platform, decided to offer their gamers direct access. So pay them directly and go around, if you like, Apple. Now, this has led to a dispute because it's against the overall agreement of how games and in-payment methods are processed by Apple. So let's see how this resolves. But we saw a very cheeky pushback from the Fortnite team against Apple, taking a little dig at Apple from the famous 1984 commercial and reversing the entire position around that. So this is very interesting. Let's see how this pans out, but we are effectively starting to see how payments are changing, and no doubt there will be other major game platforms and other social platforms pushing in this direction very, very shortly.
Crystal Samar, and yeah, this is not only impacting the commercial part of the gaming industry, but also the fashion part, the fashion
Mhm.
industry. And what I've seen is starting a few years back, we started seeing fashion inside games, starting with NBA, where you can create a persona, buy certain shoes that exist, right, to existing players, buy certain clothes, and it started expanding and expanding. And now what we're seeing in Fortnite is a true revolution in the fashion industry, right? Imagine you can buy a t-shirt for your persona, a Gucci t-shirt, for example, and then buy it yourself and play with it. This is a
Mm.
brand new level, and this is part of the experience that gamers are looking for, is the thin line between reality and virtual. And this is
Yes.
the game changer. But again, what I saw in Fortnite is a connection between the rise of Skywalker and Fortnite. But I'm not into this pop culture, right? But I know you are. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, no, that's great. So I will confess to being a Star Wars fan. I grew up with it, right? So I'm not quite a boomer, but I did grow up with Star Wars. So it's very interesting, actually, you bring this up. So we see impact of gaming into pop culture, even impacting Star Wars. You might ask how. Well, Star Wars as a franchise was acquired by Disney a few years back. It's interesting, the social media strategists at Disney decided to use Fortnite as the platform to unveil critical plot points in the story of the movie. Now, think about it. This movie franchise has been running for over 40 years. There's a huge amount of richness in the story. However, when it comes to the final chapter of this trilogy of trilogies, the critical plot points were actually unveiled before the release of the last movie, Rise of Skywalker, inside the Fortnite game. So if you're playing the game, you would have heard announcements, you have seen certain critical plot points unveiled inside that. And so it's very interesting how Disney and the Star Wars team chose to use Fortnite as a vehicle to communicate with their audience. They felt very directly and personally to unveil this quite shocking plot twist. So if you're playing Fortnite, you see that, and you go to the cinema, and there's an immediate connection between what you've seen on Fortnite and the continuation of the story inside the movie. And I think this is quite unprecedented in terms of these sorts of plot reveals, and we're likely to see more. And so you can see how pop culture has evolved from what was perhaps a comic book and cinema culture, driven by these conversations, moved online, and now you've got gaming actually driving critical plot points in multi-billion-dollar movie franchises. Who could have foreseen that a few years back? That's incredible.
No, that's fantastic, Sammar. And in terms of the movie industry, but you can talk also about the marketing industry. And I just want to connect it back to TikTok, one of the newest hypes in the market, and which Gen Z are spending a lot of time during lockdown on it. But more importantly, recently I received an email from a marketeer who was offering a TikTok for business course, and how you can leverage TikTok to grow your own brand. And what I thought is, if we're seeing TikTok as a business platform, a genuine business platform, how far is Fortnite from being also a business platform for brands to, one, leverage the rising consumers, and second, to create and check all the points in terms of connecting with their consumers and their customers?
Yeah, that's absolutely fascinating. I think we're seeing how marketing is evolving. Of course, not only as a consequence of digital and of social media, but now because of the lockdown, consumers are spending more time with their devices, of course, whether they're streaming, playing games, attending school, or doing work virtually or remotely. This is where the attention of the customer is. And so marketeers are increasingly exploring new strategies and new innovations to get close to the customer. So as you point out, we've seen that happen with the Fortnite platform and other gaming platforms over the last few years. And now we've got an entire economy emerging on TikTok. And this is where the attention of the consumers is, and how you really make an impact. So I think you've really hit upon something there. How about we talk about that on our next episode, explaining TikTok to boomers? What do you think?
I'm down to it.
All right, great. So look forward to sharing insights and hearing more from you, Ahmad, about how TikTok works and how companies can leverage the power of TikTok and other similar emerging platforms to drive their marketing message. Do you agree?
Sounds great. Yep, let's do it.
All right. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for your attention, and stay tuned, subscribe, and we look forward to having you at our next conversation. All right, take care.